Welcome. In this tutorial, we will be focusing mainly on Unit 7, which is television. Television has become an essential way of life, and there's many subdivision that television has transitioned into this digital age. Particularly, the themes that will be followed are video games. And I will demonstrate playing one of my favorite video games, which is Red Dead Redemption 2, and the excitement of this video game. The bio for this video game is Red Dead Redemption 2, which is released October 26, 2018, with great acclaims and recognition. This game is the third entry to Red Dead series and is a prequel to the 2010 game Red Dead Redemption 1. The story is set in 1899 in a fictionalized representation of the Western, Midwest, and Southern United States of America, and follows outlaw Arthur Morgan, a member of the Vanderlyn gang. Essentially, this is a story adventure game which starts in the middle of nowhere, and you have to find puzzles of your past and travel as the main protagonist, which in the story is Arthur Morgan. Essentially, whenever you play a video game, you always want to know the settings. It's always good to go to the main menu and try to figure out the controllers of the game, the camera angle you would like, the display, the audio, and anything general as far as subtitles and X and Y axis of the controller.
Well, we're gonna be long gone. We've been through worse than this. We need you strong.
Like most video games, it enhances an entertainment in a virtual type of reality that we all have wanted to live in but aren't capable of doing, as most times it's either too futuristic or too much caught up in the past. The best thing about this game is that it enhances a realism. You being a cowboy and you go through the everyday life of a cowboy and an outlaw. You learn how to shoot a gun, you learn how to hunt, you learn how to fish, you learn how to take care of your people. Basically, a lot of essential adult-like tasks is what this game enhances. You and two members of your gang find a house, and possibly it has essentials that can help members of your crew, so you guys must go and discover what's there and who's there.
You too. Get yourself out of sight. One lonely man is a lot less intimidating than three nasty-looking degenerates. Micah, hide behind that wagon. Arthur.
After finding out that it was a rivalry of yours who was actually in the building, you end up going through a gunfight with them, and then long story, you end up finding a horse which becomes your main horse throughout the game. And this is pretty cool because I've never rode a horse before, but I find that while playing this game, it felt quite real as far as even the weather, which is kind of like Calgary, but just learning small basic essentials when taking care of a horse. When you find a horse, you discover that horses always need to be fed and cleaned with a brush, which draws a better bond between you and them. They also have personalities depending which breed, and they can also break down on you and leave you for dead if you abuse them. Essentially, this does teach responsibilities, which is pretty cool looking at it from a video game perspective. Besides a lot of life lessons, this game does teach you how you will always be responsible for those around you, whether it's family or friends. I find the animation and cutscenes usually pleasing, which is something Rockstar Games has always done. In this mission, you and Javier go and try to find one of your gang members. His name is John. He's left somewhere in the mountains, and you're going through a lot of tough and cold times currently.
I'd say this, but good to see you, Arthur Morgan. You don't look so good. I don't feel too good neither. Well, can't go back the way we came.
When you save John, now you guys have to discover how you guys are going to escape through this cold mountains. And there's another thing. Now you guys have to deal with wolves and the cold mountain. The adventure of this makes this game quite unique. But video games tend to have this kind of tendencies, which is why there's always a big audience towards them. Um, Adventure is expecting the unexpected, and currently Arthur and his crew have to escape while he has to shoot these wolves in the cold. After you overcome the mountains and the wolves, there's another mission now. When you reach your home base, you and your crew are discovering that there's a rivalry gang who's near you guys, and you guys are trying to discover what they're up to, which is they have a plot and a mission to stop this train and possibly commit a robbery.
Come up there. Sure thing. Good. Come on. Seems easiest to take the same path down as Bill and Micah. Like you said, revenge is a luxury we can't afford. Yeah, just wasn't sure you agree with me.
Okay, so now you're trying to sneak in behind these guys and possibly intervene in a gunfight. That will happen soon. Um, Throughout this entire game, and like most video games, you do have a lot of choices. Particularly in this one, it allows you to either take lead, which means go after these guys, and then your crew will follow, or let your leader take lead. After a successful mission, like most outlaws, you have to loot the people that you killed and possibly see what they have left for you. It's pretty gruesome, but you know, this is the day in the life of an outlaw. While trying to return back to home base, your leader discovers there's an O'Driscoll member who fled from you guys, so you have to go and catch him and see what information you can find from him. The chase is always pretty fun in this game. This game does introduce a lot of activities for Arthur Morgan that he can participate. Some are robbery, fishing, hunting, gambling, playing blackjack, poker, dominoes, five finger fleet, as well as other chores and bounty hunting. These activities will have your character never really bored, and it's quite adventurous. So thank you for watching my video. Now to answer some of the questions from the learning objectives. Why is video games important, or television? Particularly video games has allow you to relive fictional to truthful storytelling from previous human history. I'm an historian, and I've always loved learning about things that happened before me. And I felt to relive times in the Wild West was pretty fun, wild, and crazy. It's no secret that a lot of people usually say that back in that time, anything pretty much goes. There's a lot of outlaws as well. Also, why I find Western themed video games pretty interesting is so I came to Canada in '98 when I was a little kid, and I didn't really speak much English. So me and my brother and my dad, we would watch a lot of spaghetti western, and a lot of the movies were by Sergio Leone. I've always loved Clint Eastwood as the man with no name, and how little words he spoke, and rather he spoke through his actions, which can be a lesson taught for life. In the fact your life could leave a legacy rather than your words. He also just had a aura about his character, and just throughout the movies that he played, that were pretty cool and badass. I always kind of relate to the times as far as just how interesting that was as a kid. The action was pretty fun as well. But the reason why I think people should play video games is it does allow you to relive history for those historians, and also the therapeutic state of mind that video games allow you to stay in is one thing that I've always loved growing up, and I think I don't see myself stop playing video games until maybe I'm like 100. But um, there is a there is like a therapeutic moment that you have when you're in your sanction playing a game that clear helps you clear your mind, helps you just feel happy, and puts you in a state that I don't think a lot of things in life can put you through. And I've always realized as a young kid that's important, and that's why I still participate in this activity. Now, one of the major cons with video games is that they sometimes do have a lot of violence, but I do think that it's important that kids don't get too carried away. I understand that it's just virtual and it's not a reality. I personally never wanted to ever become violent, so I never had any issues with this department. I am optimistic that one day video games will be used in universities as a major way to study and participate and just do courses. So there's a lot of good factors that I feel like video games do put into emphasizing as far as education. Um, as like in this game, you learned a lot of outdoor adventure skills that normally life doesn't teach you unless you know somebody personally who showed you the ropes. Anyways, thank you, and you have a good day.